So Mike, what are some of the common pitfalls for a homeowner trying to grow specifically peaches in their home landscape?
As we talked about, rootstock selection is going to be key. We are standing in an orchard where we're evaluating 17 genetically different peach rootstocks. If we look through the orchard, you'll see many trees are dead. We are using varieties and rootstocks that have been developed in other parts of the country, other parts of the world. We plant them here and they do not tolerate our environmental complex, primarily bacterial pathogens. So as we talk about, that's going to be the key. Many people, their trees die from thirst. They don't have irrigation. Here we have micro sprinkler irrigation that we wet the entire root zone during the growing season. Many individuals do not do that. You'll look, we also have vegetation-free area underneath the tree out to about the drip line or outer edge of the tree. In this area, we do not want vegetation growing because that vegetation gets first dibs on moisture and nutrients and starving the tree. So those would be from the plant management issue. We start looking at insects and diseases as we were looking at earlier. Insects are a prime issue that we have to contend with. Peaches are delicious, they're full of sugar. Insects and diseases like them as much as we do. So if we look at peaches, as soon as the peaches come out of their blossoms, there is an insect stink bug complex that comes in. They chew on the outside of the peaches, resulting in a deformation commonly referred to as cat facing. If we do not control that insect, by the end of the first month after bloom, we can have 90–95% of our fruit damaged.
Wow.
So early season insects, as we move later into the season, we have oriental fruit moth. They start by chewing the tips of peaches. The first 2 generations chewing the tree. The third one becomes a worm in the peach. Nobody likes a wormy peach. Okay. They are organic and peach flavored, but nobody likes them.
Right.
So again, that's another issue. We also start talking about diseases. Brown rot is going to be a major issue. As the peaches start to build up in sugars, the brown rot, a fungal pathogen, moves in and results in peaches that are rotten within 2 or 3 days after infection. Then, as we talked about earlier, the peach tree borer that affects the trunks late in the season is another major issue and challenge.
Now you mentioned weed control, and here the strategy is to keep all vegetation away. In a home landscape, oftentimes mulch is used. Are there any kind of pitfalls with that?
Yes, there's no perfect method for controlling vegetation. We use herbicides here that are labeled for peaches to control it. That way we can pick up most things. Mulches can be used. The problem with mulch is we only need enough, 2 to 3 inches, to keep the moisture preserved and also to maintain a vegetation-free area. However, the challenge with using mulch around any fruit tree is going to be voles. We have pine voles and meadow voles in North Carolina. Meadow voles living in the surface, pine voles underneath the ground, living very similar to moles. Many times they will find a peach root out in the middle of a row or middle of a yard, and they will just chew that root back to the tree and girdle the entire tree. So again, those are things many people will try to use weed-free nettings, landscape fabrics. All those issues, all those methods can be a problem with vole management.